Hi everyone, Bandanner here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to WARNO League Season 0.5 from SDL. Today we are with Sotek and Tanner for their second game. Sotek over on the left in blue playing as the 1st British Army, and over on the right in red we have Tanner playing as the 2nd Panzer Grenadiers. Let's have a look at what Tanner has down first. I've discovered something amazing, by the way. I can pause the game without having to bring the menus up using my controller. So this was new to me. I'm trying to figure out if there's more I can do with the controller. So I'll have to keep playing around with it and see if I can change any settings in the files. So here we have Fallschirmjäger, Fallschirmjäger auf Clara, and a Fallschirmjäger Führer, all heading up to Charlie. So Tanner planning to hold Charlie. Over here we have some Jäger auf Clara and a Commander. Commander heading to Delta, Jäger auf Clara heading up to these buildings here. Over at this side we have Fliegerforst, some Pioneer Armbrust, also going into Charlie. He really wants to keep hold of that. And back here we have Fliegerforst, Sicherungs, M40 recoilless rifles, and some Pioneer Armbrusts all heading up to Bravo area. And something's heading over there. I imagine that's going to be probably an M40. But we'll see what goes over that way. At this side, Sotek has some Terriers Paras, some Scouts, and a Fox heading over this way. The Fox heading up there quite aggressively, going to get quite close to those Jäger auf Clara. We do have, in a big surprise to me, some Gazelle rockets down. Now, they can be very effective. It's a shame he's not sending them to Charlie, as that would cause lots of issues for Tanner's forward deployment troops. And the back here we have a Spartan, a Tractor Rapier, and a Chieftain, all heading up to Foxtrot as well. At this side we have a Fox, an SAS Patrol, and Terriers Paras, everything heading up this way, fairly aggressively, sort of pushing up to there. Terriers Paras in the middle, being fairly aggressive, getting quite close to Bravo. Could be an early skirmish there. And then back here we have some rifles and some arm rifles in Moria Milans. And again, all of that is heading to Alpha. Sotek said, I don't want Charlie. Tanner can have it. I'm going to take the rest of the map. Let's get this show on the road. But yeah, being able to pause without bringing up the menus and stuff, very handy for me. How handy that'll be in terms of doing the castings when the sort of play is actually ongoing, I don't know, but it's certainly handy at the start to be able to pause when some of these players absolutely dash through their deployment phase, and it gives me literally like 30 seconds to try and say what's going on and where their units are going, which just doesn't work. Sometimes you need a couple of minutes depending on the map. So it's nice to be able to have that option. But I will refine that down, because I still like to be sort of saying what's happening as one of the players is going in on larger maps, just so it doesn't take up too much time. So yes, Gazelles not in the best place. If they had been up at the top there in the hills at the lumber camp, they would have caused some serious issues for Tanner at the start. I do notice that he's moving those Gazelles over that way now, perhaps. No, just to the middle. Sotek's looking pretty good here, to be honest. He's already in position. Tanner has taken this point here. Do see those Gazelles moving over now. A little bit late to the party. There is a Fliegerforce there now. No jets in yet for anyone. We could have potentially seen Tanner bring in some helicopters as well. The Gazelles didn't push over this way. Being very standoffish with the Gazelles this game. Tanner has taken Bravo. His units have moved up there quite effectively. Look at this though. He's managed to kill the Fox that was there. I believe that's his transport's gone down. The Fux Milan is moving up that way. This is looking pretty good right now. For Sotek, though, he's just in a much more forward position in the center here. If he can control his units well, he could cause some serious issues for Tanner early on. I mean, he's basically in Bravo. I notice these Warrior Milans still pushing up this way. They're going over here. But I could very much see those being sent straight into Bravo. There's a jet in now coming in this way behind me. I see him going for these Gazelles. Tornado HE actually going for the SAS patrol. Does get its bombs off, does a lot of damage. Tornado coming in for the Gazelle now. One Gazelle went down anyway. Second Gazelle goes down. No jets in the other side. Realistically, is Sotek going to be too bothered about the fact that he's losing those helicopters? Probably not. Another HE bomber comes in though. He might be more bothered about the HE bombers. Obviously, multiple HE bombers is going to cause concern for his infantry. And Tanner, wow, look at this. Tanner being very aggressive here, moving his command. Surely this command does not get past those rifles. It does not. I thought he'd stopped them to deploy them there, but they didn't get out. And the rifles get the kill on the command. Tanner very almost had a nice early cap of that back point alpha. We do see the skirmish commencing here. Chieftain Mark 11 command pushing up here. Those Warrior Milans being pulled back now to assist defense of Alpha. Spin us around that way. I think it's a better view. Oh, Chieftain almost takes a Milan to the side, but gets the kill on the Fux Milan. Terrier's power is not looking too hot here. Simply outnumbered, plus the M40 recoilless rifles here. Able to dish out some serious heat damage. Jets coming in. HE bombers coming for these buildings. This could be nasty. Not as nasty as I expected. Minor damage to one squad. Second bomber doesn't drop its bombs. And goes down. Harrier hits the deck. Command is in the point though. And Tanner initially pulling back his forces there. Debating what to do, I think, now. Over at Alpha. Tanner still pushing, but the armor rifles have arrived with the Warrior Milans. HE bombers coming in here, dropping on that command tank. Oh! Mostly catching the infantry in the buildings, though, and that's all the infantry dead. The command tank is on its own. Those armor rifles obviously had to be sent over to Alpha. Ideally, I think they needed to be in here. That slight +1 to Sotek. Back to neutral. Didn't really catch him up to Tanner. Just pulling back slightly. Just notice the Pioneers slowly moving along the forest at the far left-hand side of the screen there. Not sure where they're aiming to get to. Chieftain command back in here. Reinforcements heading in towards Alpha for Tanner. Very little over here for Tanner, though. This might be of concern for him. There is a squad of rifles for Sotek, which is currently being encroached on by a Fallschirm Jäger. These M40s doing a surprisingly good job. Javelin LMLs arriving for that building there. Those rifles aren't faring very well in this fight. They need some fire support. Sotek needs a way to kill all the infantry in those buildings. The rifles are going to die. Sotek is regaining control around Alpha, though. Even with those reinforcements arriving, he should be okay. HE bomb coming in for this building again. Nice strike. Very nice strike. Colonial Milan's going down. M40 causing issues for the tanks. Down goes the Chieftain Mark 11. Side shot by the M40 in the building there. Assault Pioneers coming in. And a Rover Command coming in as well. Don't know where that's off to. Seems to be almost coming around the side. We'll be at risk from that M40. Surprised to see a seed plane knocking about there. I don't think the British here on the 1st Armoured have any radar AA, so not sure how much use that's going to be in this game. Well, none anymore because it's dead, but you know what I mean. A little bit of air skirmishing going on, but nothing too exciting. Another Harrier HE2 goes down. Harrier HE2s only have 8 hit points these days, so they go down pretty quickly. This Rover Command is actually pushing around the back. It's been spotted, though. Tornado did just try to strafe it. Mad dash by Sotek to get to this back point. I was waiting to see if anything came in to defend that point. Pioneers heading this direction. Not exactly the ideal thing to stop a Rover Command vehicle. Still +1 to Sotek. Sotek surely knows he's not going to keep that back point for very long, even if he caps it. Starting to overwhelm the M40s here, finally. With his Assault Pioneers. Should actually now be able to gain control of this point and kill the command, potentially. However, at the same time, look at what's happened in Alpha. Tanner has managed to break in here. A lot of infantry fighting. Bit of a meat grinder. HE bomber coming in. Gets at least 1 kill. However, command is in the point. And it switches to Tanner. Back point, however, has switched to Sotek. Currently remains +3 to Sotek for capping that back point. HE bomber came in again to try and do some more damage to these infantry. Now the problem with the 1st British is they don't have a lot of infantry, so sooner or later Sotek is going to run out, and holding this town is obviously very difficult. Can utilize tanks obviously to act as fire support, firing in from the outside, but he really needs to hold the open ground more than anything else here. The M40 is actually causing Sotek so many problems. Command did arrive here, is now running away and hiding. Very sensible. You can see that at the top right hand side of the screen there, near the death messages. You see that rover driving away. Where is it going, though? I feel like it's going a little bit too far. Oh, okay, it's safe now. I thought it was going to drive into the enemy spawn. Strafing runs on infantry by tornadoes here. Anything to kill the infantry in those buildings. Obviously, at the moment, it feels like a real struggle for Sotek to control this. Command has had to pull out of this point as well. Still +2 to Sotek, though. Rover Command was called in at the far side of the map. You can just see it rolling across the very top of the screen there. That's going to try and get into our point in the lumber mill. Charlie. Lots of reinforcements have arrived here for Tanner. He really doesn't want to give up Bravo anymore. Command being called in to take the rear point back. Gazelle rocket coming in here, but there's a Flieger Force nearby. A little bit quiet at the moment in terms of reinforcements from Sotek. He is bringing in some arm rifles now, finally. And some supplies. I think he's spent a lot on aircraft recently. I think that's where his points have been going. Tornado goes down to the tracked rapiers. HE bomber coming in again. Good drop. He's actually managed to clear out the infantry here because Tanner hasn't been bringing in a constant amount of reinforcements there. So very likely that Tanner can recap that. I'm surprised he hasn't sent the Chieftain Mark 11 command back into there just to try and recap the point. Maybe on his way to doing that now. Commander here going... I think he's sending that Jaeger commander probably round to Alpha. Or he's just... No, it's on the move again. Really curious what his plan is with that. He's moving it back into the point. Yeah, that Chieftain command... Ah, there we go. Sultan arrives in the back point for Tanner. Now back to neutralized. And now +2 to Tanner. As that cap has taken completely. There we go. Now we see that Chieftain Mark 11 command moving back into this point. Which it will cap. There's no command in there. Tanner pulling his infantry back in the forest there near Charlie to rearm them. But the Rover command is moving into that point. And he will cap that. Sotek will gain another advantage in points. Good use of artillery harassment by Tanner this game. He loves his artillery. He's pretty good with it. And there we go. The point over there. Completely switching hands to Sotek. Back to a +2. He's got a nice advantage in points right now. Tanner on the back foot. And this is a bad map to be on the back foot in terms of points. There is a real difficulty on this map of gaining points. And 500 may not seem like a lot for most maps, but on Black Forest, especially Black Forest Duel, it's a lot of points. The majority of the time on this map, you're at a +1. It's actually rare to get a +2, to be honest, because usually any point that's in the middle, or, you know, namely Alpha, Bravo, Foxtrot and Charlie, you're sort of in the position that most of them get contested rather than taken over completely. It's actually a little bit unusual for so many points to have switched hands completely, and for so long in this game on either side. Sultan command coming in at the back of Bravo here. There's a good amount of units here for Sotek now, though. He's looking a little bit stronger, but lots of reinforcement infantry coming into the back of Alpha at this side. The Assault Pioneers should see them, I think, but that is a lot of stuff coming in there. I expect we're about to see some bombers arriving for Sotek again. And those infantry are pretty close together. That would be a nice target for a few bombers. Back here in Bravo, the battle is ongoing. Sotek still determined to get back in there if he can. It is very well defended, though. And speaking of the HE bombers, there they go at the top of the screen, hitting those infantry. Oh, Fox goes down here. Tornadoes come in to try and deal with those bombers, but they do get out alive again. Bombers coming in for Tanner this time. Looks like he's going for the Gazelle. Tornado comes in and gets taken out immediately. Certainly Sotek not controlling the skies here. Perhaps Tanner doing a little bit better job of that, but Sotek has managed to get his bombers in defensively and do some reasonably serious damage to Tanner's forces. There's absolutely nothing happening behind me. I keep checking the mini-map to see if anyone's trying to get anything around behind, but it hasn't happened. I will note, by the way, that the command of Sotek was destroyed at the back there. You can see the smoke. I didn't expect that to survive. I thought it would get found sooner or later. Leo 2A3's on the field here for Tanner now, putting up a bit more of a fight. Tanner really doesn't want to let this go, but he's currently still losing on points quite drastically now. Sotek heading towards 1,000 points, which is, again, a heck of a milestone to reach on this map. There is a Leo 1A5 command at the top of the screen there, rolling in to that area. But it's not a lot to hold 1 point. Granted, both players mostly focusing at the moment on Bravo and Alpha. Tanner once again with a foothold in Alpha. Although, again, it's a foothold sort of further back behind the lines. And I'm expecting those bombers to come back in now. Yeah, I see jets on the map for Sotek. I'm expecting bombers to come in. Those Gazelles were being used as recon to see exactly which buildings those were in. And yeah, here we go. Multiple bombers coming in off the back of the map there. Once again, going for these infantry. Chief to Mark 11 command was destroyed over here at Bravo in the meantime. Those Leo 2A3s obviously pose a massive threat. Challenger Mark 2 is in though. HE bomber coming in for the Leo as well. Nice. Sotek gets a kill on the Leo. He'll be happy with that. That's both Leos down by the looks of it. Both Leo 2A3s have died. Some hefty losses. Challenger Mark 2 remains alive. However, the loss of the command tank is going to be a pain for Sotek, because it means that if Alpha is retaken, he doesn't have a command to slip in there. He can retake the lumber camp though. You'll notice his command rover is moving back in as the Leo 1A5 command is moving out. I'll be back to a +2 for him very shortly. And this tactic is working pretty well for Sotek right now. He's just moving in and out of points at the back. And not using much to do it. But it's been very effective. And the grind goes on over here in the center. Good use of mortars by Sotek as well. Being used very effectively as harassment against the infantry in the buildings now. Some reinforcement infantry in at this side for Sotek as well. Trying to clear out some of the remaining infantry in the forest and get back into Alpha and lock it down. HE bomber coming in there. Needs to be careful. There are multiple Gepards on the field now. Does get a kill on the infantry in the forest though, while taking a smattering of damage. Tornado IDS HE bomber coming in there. I assume it was going to try and bomb the command, but he won't know exactly where it is. M48s will make short work of that rover command vehicle though. But the +2 means that Sotek is very close to that 1,000 point mark. I do feel like Sotek is in a very good position now because all he has to do is hold. He doesn't have to do anything special. Tornado IDSHE goes down. And at the moment it feels like Sotek's exchanging reasonably well. We're seeing more red pop up on that kill list than blue. Bolshevik Jaeger Commander waiting to move into Alpha, and another Leo 105 command pushing in round the back, probably going to be heading to the lumber mill. Sotek has breached the 1,000 point mark. He'll be very happy with that. He's looking a bit thin on the ground, honestly. He's got a couple of expensive units down still low, like the Challenger Mark II. He's lost his infantry at this side, I know. There is a bomber heading in there to kill the Fallschirmjäger, but the Fallschirmjäger way further forward than that. Tornado coming in for the Gazelle as well. Very little defending Foxtrot, funnily enough. Lots of stuff over in Charlie, the lumber mill now. Looking for that rover command, but it's running away again quite sensibly. The Jaguar HE destroyed. Lots of jets died in this game. It's not been a good game for the bombers, or indeed the ASF. Lots of stuff coming in at the back of the map there for Tanner, but at a +2, 10 minutes left to the victory. I'm not sure how Tanner pulls this back now. He must be running low on commands. He's lost quite a few. I do see he's got a couple of Leo 2A3s in once more. The mortars are off again. Fallschirmjägerführer being moved in towards Alpha. It's undefended. He's deployed it. Interesting. I thought he was going to try and charge it in for a second there. Jet of some description coming in. Another bomber, I assume. Yeah, HE bomber going for the Fallschirmjäger at the back of Alpha. And that's Alpha cleared once more. Still +1 to Sotek, but about to be neutralized once more. But with 14 minutes left, I just don't see Tanner being able to make up the points now. Taking a look at the entire map. The Jaeger of Clara did manage to push down this side, but they're not going to do anything on their own. They bumped into the scouts. Tornado is coming in to finish them off. Obviously, Sotek doesn't want him seeing what's at the back of the map. Doesn't want him to know there's nothing defending it. Tornado coming in a little bit late, unfortunately. There is a Challenger Mark II and Chieftain commands, multiple Chieftain commands coming in just to hang on to Alpha, if nothing else. As Tanner will be moving everything, as you can see, towards Alpha now. M48's rolling around the back as well. "13 minutes, just over, left of this game. And Tanner trying to push into this point with everything he has by the looks of it. Tornado MW1's coming in as well. Seems to veer off without dropping its payload. But look at this at the back there. The rover command almost out of fuel, driving back into the lumber mill. It was never found. There is a Fuchs Razit rolling around the back of the map there. Probably looking for that command, but it's been evaded. And that command will roll back in there, making it +2 once more for Sotek. And even if Tanner gets a command into this point, the reality is Sotek has taken this game. Leo 185 command being bombed there. What a strike. Just caught it as it was going in. Chieftain Mark 11 command heading rapidly towards Bravo as well. One of the Chieftain Mark 11 commands moving into Alpha. It will be contested either way. And if that Chieftain Mark 11 command gets into this point, he will actually take it. Though there are some Fallschirmjäger moving up to intercept. Harrier comes in and finishes off the command tank. There's just the command infantry left on the field. Leo 203. One was lost, the other one was going to die in a moment. And there's the surrender. Commiserations, Tanner. That was a rough old game. Very well played by Sotek. Much closer in kills to losses there. Much closer. I think if Tanner hadn't lost a lot at the end there, he would have actually been out ahead. But he lost a lot of tanks and units trying to push in at the end. But really well played, guys. That was a good game. I really liked Sotek's misbehavior, getting that command round the back. That was well done. Chieftain Mark 11 command did a really good job. That was the one brought in at the start. Jaguar HE did a really good job. The bombers were doing a really superb job in this game on both sides. In particular for Sotek, but here look, Tornado IDS HE did well. Fallschirmjäger was doing a good job. I mean, the M40s I felt were doing a good job at maybe not finishing off many units, but they were doing a lot of damage in Bravo. I was quite impressed with that. And they seemed quite hard to kill at first. Well played, guys. I think MVP here has to go at the bombers because they were doing a very good job throughout that game, even if a few of them were lost. But thank you for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon for some more WARNO.